What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4 here, and it is draft season on Beast Mode TV. My favorite time, well, one of my favorite times of the year. You know, a lot of people are upset when the NFL season's coming to a close, but me, I stay rock hard, rock solid throughout the whole entire offseason. So, yesterday, or whenever day we would have done, we did the quarterbacks already, my quarterback rankings, and hopefully this went over pretty well. And today we're doing on the next major position group, and we're going to be taking a look at the running backs. So, guys, let's try to shoot for 100 likes on this video. I know it's a very faux pas of me, and I hate it when people say like the video before you even watch the fucking thing. But if we get 100 likes on this video, tomorrow will be the next episode of this draft process. So I'm not going to wait a couple days, not going to go with my regular scheduled content. We'll get these out. If you guys want them, the 100 likes will signal that you guys want to continue seeing these as soon as possible. Get your fix of the draft. So I will do that. And today on the running backs, we're going to go through our top 5. Then we'll also go through a couple, I don't know, I guess we'll say awards, if you will, going for busts, sleepers, most NFL ready, highest potential, all that stuff. So for the running backs, it seems like for the quarterback story, it seems pretty consistent. There's no real, wrench you can throw into the constant top 5 rankings. I think what we did, just in case you didn't mention, I went Davis Webb number 5, Deshaun Watson 4, Patty Mahomes 3, Deshaun Kaiser 2, and Mitch Trubisky 1. And I mean, that seems pretty consensus. And once again, the top 3 for the running backs, I don't think you're going to find a lot of discrepancy across like anyone's rankings. And I think if someone does go, out of this order of the top 3 especially, they're just trying to do it for the sake of being different. Which, I mean, when you're doing this and you're putting your reputation in quotations on the line, I think it's better to be accurate than to just be different for the sake of being different. But that leaves for almost all these rankings, the 4 and 5 guys, to be all over the place. It basically comes down to preferential and what you look for in a running back. So for me, I'm going to take almost a cheap way here because I have a 5A and 5B, but we'll only really talk about one guy for my number 5 spot. So number 5A, we'll say, is going to be Wayne Gallman, the running back from Clemson. 6'1", 205 pounds on the year. A little bit of down year, but over a 2-year span, he's been very good for Clemson. But last year, 1,200 yards, 17 touchdowns, and he had 152 receiving yards. For me, Wayne Gallman, the pro comparison for him, as terms of a running style, I have a younger Darren McFadden when he came out of Arkansas and played for the Oakland Raiders. Very explosive, underrated hands, can definitely catch. Can pass protect, which is something that I think Wayne Gallman might be better at than probably any running back, I would say right now. Wayne Gallman is the most likely to drop back and pass protect because he's had to protect the golden jewel of the Clemson Tigers, which is Deshaun Watson over the last 2 seasons. So with Wayne Gallman, the only problem with him that I see is he runs way too upright. That was one of the things when I was playing running back, actually. People said I ran way too upright, especially because I was a little bit more compact than anyone. I wasn't 6'1", but it is a disadvantage at the NFL. The higher you are, the easier you are to tackle. Simple physics of football. But I really like what I see in Wayne Gallman. I think, when a lot of people during last year's draft prospect, when you're talking about Ezekiel Elliott, that was one of the biggest things. He can pass protect. And that's what I see with Wayne Gallman. I wouldn't be surprised to see him grade out, once all the other draft, I'm not doing this super early, but I'm doing this relatively early. Once more people get a lot more film on him, they may come out and say, oh my God, this guy's pass protection is unreal. I think he has the best pass protection maybe there's bigger guys like Samaje Perine that may chip in. But in terms of his size, because he's only 205 pounds, he's given up 10, 15 pounds to some of the other top prospects. I think his pass protection is very good. 5B, and like I said, I actually maybe didn't say in this video, I usually do one set of rankings before the combine and one set after the combine. I'm almost pretty sure that he will make my list after the combine because he's going to probably post up pretty stellar numbers. Just making it a 5B, no graphic or anything for him, is Alvin Kamara from Tennessee. It's one of those things where you have, with Wayne Gallman, you get the pass protection and a little bit better of a power back. With Kamara, you get the gimmicky, in a way, pass catching back. I'm not sold on him being a 3-down runner yet. I gotta wait and see what his combine numbers are, and he's never really been a 3-down running back a whole lot in Tennessee. He was always in combination with Jalen Hurd, so he has that going against him, that he hasn't had a full workload, which is also a positive thing because he has less miles on him than some of the other running backs. But I think after the combine, I just have a gut feeling that I'll probably move Alvin Kamara into my top 5. Great hands. Maybe I'd say he's as good of hands as any other running back in this year's draft class. I just don't think the body of work and the fact that I don't know how well he will be doing as a pass blocker, he might not be a 3-down back in the NFL. Very well could be. In my opinion, probably will change come the combine. But as it stands right now, I mean, I want to include him in my top 5. I don't really have an overall. I just slightly, very, very slightly give it to Gallman over Alvin Kamara, but both are going to be great running backs. This entire running back class, there is probably 8 or 9 running backs for me, for the Philadelphia Eagles, my team, that, you know, kind of need a running back. There's 8 or 9 guys that I'll be very satisfied with us getting. Anyways, moving on to number 4, somewhat controversial. This guy here, off the field issues, declared late. You see him he's either top 5 or he's completely off a lot of people's draft boards. It's one or the other. There's no real in between. I have him at number 4, and that's going to be Joe Mixon from Oklahoma. 6'1", 230 pounds on the year last year, splitting with Samaje Perine in Oklahoma. He had 1,300 yards, 10 rushing touchdowns to go along with 550 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. This guy here, Mixon is just a better version of Alvin Kamara, but has the off-field issues. But the pro comparison I have for Joe Mixon, this is going to be almost a hot take. I have David Johnson light. Fucking Joe Mixon, big enough body that he can run between the tackles. He has solid speed. I think his combine time could make a lot of people that are, you know, a little bit worried about his off-the-field issues. If he has a stellar combine time, like he can run in the 4.5s, or I mean not 4.5s, but the low 4.5s, high 4.4s, which is what some people are projecting. He's gonna be. I think he's gonna jolt right up into that first, second round range. It's kind of all over the place right now for him. But I think David Johnson light. Obviously, the off-the-field issue seems like David Johnson's like a fucking angel off the field, which is great. I like David Johnson. He's a beast. It's obviously you get the baggage coming with Joe Mixon. But watching Joe Mixon play in Oklahoma, man, he runs as smooth of routes and has as good of hands. Doesn't use his body a whole lot to catch his passes. Has as good as hands as I see with David Johnson. That's where I get the similarity. Both these guys, bigger backs with excellent pass-catching ability. I think Mixon, again, don't want to keep. This is not an Eagles video, but not relating back to the Eagles. I'd be super stoked to have a guy like Joe Mixon on the roster, but he's gonna have to ace some of those, you know, interview phases. There's a lot of questions out the field, and I think as organization, like a smart organization, if you see him slip, it's definitely for a reason. They're definitely worried about a repeat offender. Maybe he's not all there in the head in terms of, you know. I just think with what happened with him, it was a one instance kind of thing, and I think everyone, especially in the college level where you're big-headed, you're the big man on campus, you think you're untouchable, alcohol could get involved, you know, it's this typical macho man bullshit like that. I think everyone gets one. It wasn't good. I saw the videotape where he punched the chick. I'm always, I take a Bill Burr approach to things like, oh, well, there's 2 sides to every story. You should never hit a woman, but there's 2 sides to every story. But it did look he was guilty as fuck, but everyone gets one. It's guys that get 2, 3 offenses, guys like Dorial Green Beckham, just to name one, that I get real worried about. But I think Mixon, the talent is off the chains for this guy, and like I said, give him a praise to David Johnson. That's pretty high praise if I do say so myself. Moving on to number 3, I'm going Christian McCaffrey from Stanford. Like I said, my top 3 is pretty much consensus across the board on every website. Number 3 is Christian McCaffrey from Stanford, 6'1", 200 pounds on the season. He had 1,600 rush yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, going with 310 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns, plus a bunch of all-purpose yards for the punting and kickoffs and stuff like that. My pro comparison from Christian McCaffrey is Matt Forte. Bet you thought it was going to be like every other motherfucker and try to find a white running back to compare him to. Anyone that thinks that he's not going to be a running back at the next level, they're racist. That's pretty much the only way to put it. You're fucking racist if you don't think he's going to be a running back just because he's white or something like that. And I'm not saying that you are. A lot of people aren't, but I have seen that on Reddit and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, he'll be a slot wide receiver or something like that. No, he's a great running back. I think he has the vision to be an NFL running back. He has the power. He's as good a size. He's almost as big as fucking Dalvin Cook, who a lot of people say could be the only guy that may be ranked ahead of Leonard Fournette on these lists. I see a lot of similarities between him and Matt Forte. Very patient. They have explosiveness. They have good hands out of the backfield. They're not necessarily built like a north-south running back, but they can get it done and then get to the outside. So I see a lot of Matt Forte similarities. Back when Matt Forte was with the Chicago Bears with Christian McCaffrey. And McCaffrey's another guy. Man, it's this new wave of running back. Everyone I think like for a little bit there was the rangy corners. It's still there a little bit, but it's starting to fade. Where everyone wanted the next Richard Sherman. Everyone wanted that 6'2", no one shorter than 6 feet for an outside corner. You know, everyone wanted the big, long, rangy guy. They might not have had the most speed, but the physical bump and run coverage guy. Now, I think with the running backs, people are going to want the David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, the guy that they can also line up at wide receiver, the guy that can catch pretty much every route you need to run out of the backfield, offering another dynamic to the offense. And I think guys like Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, those are the dudes that are running backs by trade, not other gimmicky players, which we'll talk about when we get into the bus. I think that this is a perfect time for them to declare out of college. It's just the next evolution of the running back. Guys want people, like I said, not to beat it into the ground. You want a pass catcher out there, and McCaffrey is as good as anyone else in this draft class, and he'll definitely be a first-round draft pick. Moving on to number 2, we're going Dalvin Cook from Florida State, 5'11", 210 pounds on the season, 1,700 rush yards, 19 rushing touchdowns, 488 receiving yards, and I think he had 1 receiving touchdown to his name as well. My pro comparison from him is Devontae Freeman in the pros. Now, Freeman, when he was at Florida State, didn't catch a whole lot of balls. I don't think he ever had more than 15 receptions. But now that he's been in Atlanta, in that Kyle Shanahan offense, he's had, like 50, 60 receptions every single year. That's what I see with Dalvin Cook. That's where it depends where they go, I think, in terms of prospects. Maybe we can talk about it after we talk about the number 1 prospect. But I think that's where Dalvin Cook has it over the eventual number 1 guy we're going to talk about, is that he can pass catch. And there's some offenses where Cook is a better fit than Leonard Fournette. Where Leonard Fournette is... I do believe Leonard Fournette, at the end of the day, you talk about fitting a square peg into a round hole. I think Leonard Fournette will fit in any motherfucking hole. He's that good of a player. But teams that want their running back to be able to run extensive pass, pretty much they need to have a pass-catching tree route in their fucking head. They need to be able to run every single thing efficiently and like that. And Cook has seen a lot of that in college. And, I mean, like, his fucking bowl game was excellent at that. He had, 2 or 3 big-time receptions in that game. And I think Cook is... probably the most well-rounded running back in this year's draft class, but he does have some off-the-field injuries. I think it's something with his shoulder that a couple people are, like, it's coming to day right now that people are a little bit worried about his shoulder. It's a little banged up. I don't know if he has to go to surgery or anything like that, but I still think at the end of the day, I'm not a fan of Florida State, not a fan of Dalvin Cook, but he's a very good player. And again, relating it back to my Philadelphia Eagles, would not be upset if Philly jumped on him. But I definitely see a lot of how Freeman was used in Atlanta. That's probably the type of back that you're going to get in Dalvin Cook in the pros. And it's very easy. They're both Florida State running backs. But the number 1 overall running back is Leonard Fournette from LSU, 6'1", 230 pounds on the year. He was banged up, still finished with 843 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns to go with 146 receiving yards. Pro comparison for him has been the exact same pro comparison that's been since high school for him, and that's Adrian Peterson. He looks like Adrian Peterson. Can't really catch to save shit. Might have some fumble issues, but outside of that, he's a generational running back, I think. I don't think there's another running back that's quite like Leonard Fournette. I mean, the next run of running backs, you got Saquon Barkley, that's looking really good. Saquon Barkley's probably the next superstar running back. I'm probably forgetting a couple right now off the top of my head, but when I think of what are the true superstars, I think Barkley's going to be the next one, but he's not the same style running back Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette is a throwback, 3 down between the tackle, north-south runner, and I think that he would fit on any team. Any team in the NFL that doesn't have Le'Veon Bell or David Johnson or Ezekiel Elliott wants Leonard Fournette. He would be a fit. There's some issues, again, about the injury history. Is he worn down? He got a lot of touches at LSU, especially against SEC defenses, which are just absolute fucking factories for turning out NFL talent, especially in the front 7. But I think Fournette to Adrian Peterson is a great comparison. I think Fournette will be a top 10 runner. Even if he has some injuries lingering in, I don't know exactly what's up with his ankle. Leonard Fournette's the kind of guy, even if he doesn't go to the combine, which I don't think he's planning on missing out, he'd still be a top 10 pick. I mean, he is still a generational talent. And like I said, where you have Cook, Cook might be better fit for teams like the Eagles. Just off the top of my head, Fournette works for teams that don't rely on the running backs. They want the running backs to be running backs. That's it. He might get 1 or 2 pass attempts a game, like pretty much how the Rams use Todd Gurley, or just Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson, what? He had like 2 or 3 catches, maybe a game, maybe. He'd have multiple games where he didn't get a single reception. Trust me, I had Adrian Peterson in a PPR fantasy league. I just get nothing in terms of receptions from him. But that's not, like I said, this is for teams that want their running backs to be a fucking running back. And there's still enough teams in the NFL that are going to absolutely be drooling at the mouth when their pick comes up and Leonard Fournette is still on the board. So, yeah, definitely a beast. And I think, obviously I'm not going to go too far off the board. I think it's pretty much consensus that Fournette, Cook, and McCaffrey is the top 3. And then 4 and 5 can be, Joe Mixon, Wayne Gallman. I've seen some Deontay Foreman from Texas. I've seen some Alvin Kamara, a couple shouts for Jerry McNichols, stuff like that. So now we're just going to go into the final little awards, if you will, or tags that we'll throw into players. So for the most NFL ready, it's going to be Leonard Fournette. That guy probably could have been a LeBron James and played in the NFL right out of high school. For the bust, I'm going with Curtis Samuel from Ohio State. Just because if he's classified as a running back, I think personally, if I was a team, I'd see him more as a wide receiver, but if he does, then he's going to be in that weird little mold of Percy Harvin. When Percy Harvin came out of Florida, where he's played a little bit of both. I just think that's a little too gimmicky for me. He's not big enough. I don't think he has the vision to be a running back, but I think some team may gamble on him, and have really seen him as like, oh man, he can be a Ty Montgomery type guy. I just don't see it right now. There's too many other guys that are more complete as running backs if he truly comes out as a running back that I would rather have. Biggest potential, I have a tie for Joe Mixon and Alvin Kamara. I think both those guys are the evolution. They're almost goddamn wide receivers that can play running back, that are built like running back and have the vision and natural vision of a running back that I don't think guys like Curtis Samuel have. And for biggest sleeper, I already mentioned Wayne Gallman, so I won't use him as my official one, but I do think he potentially could be a sleeper because I've seen some mocks and some grades and rankings have it going 3rd, 4th round, which is Jesus Christ. But my biggest sleeper will be Jerry McNichols from Boise State. He can do it all. He's, what do you have? He almost like 17 rushing touchdowns, had like 1,500 yards, had a bunch of receptions. He can pass catch well. I think he's going to be a guy 3rd round, 4th round. If you missed out on one of the big running backs that we talked about so far in this video, I think he's the best guy on the outside looking in and very talented runner for sure. I think personally, I've seen a lot of people from Boise State say he's better than J.J. And we saw what J.J. did for the Miami Dolphins in the second half of the season. He was a stud. So there you have it, guys. Those are my first grades 1.0 for version 1 for the running backs for the 2017 NFL Draft. Like I said, there'll probably be a second video coming after the Combine. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Like I said, 100 likes, and I will do the next one. I'm not sure if I'm going to do wide receivers or I'm going to do offensive line. But that will be coming next, so 100 likes, and I'll upload the next one tomorrow and get that content out to you guys as soon as possible. If the first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.